Hey guys, it's the AK Geek here. Been meaning to get some more videos out to you guys as of late, but as you can pretty well imagine, things have been pretty busy. I do have a couple of new projects in the works, some videos that you're probably going to find a lot more entertaining than this one, but recent events have kind of forced my hand with this one, and I feel this is a very important message for both all of the new firearms owners that are out there these days, and even for experienced gun owners in this really weird time to be living in with all the political craziness and government craziness, and especially ammo buying, gun purchasing craziness. Lessons to learn from the Ammopocalypse of 2020 and 2021. Had an incident a couple weekends ago. First time being able to go shooting a couple months, and learned a hard lesson that kind of wish never would have happened, but it is important nonetheless to learn from these kinds of things. Main lesson during Ammopocalypse, guys, make sure you check your ammo and make sure you understand the type of ammunition that you're buying and be very critical of so-called really good deals that you get. Long story short, my CZP07 that I've had for close to almost 4 years now, put well over 1,000 rounds through it, never had a problem once. It's been a great pistol for me. That pistol basically exploded in my hand. As you can see in the photos here, pretty crazy experience to go through, and not a fault of the gun itself or even so much user error as much as an ammunition issue that could have been avoided if I had been paying a little bit more attention to what exactly I was buying. Long story short, a case ruptured and basically causing my frame to basically expand, explode basically in my hand. And thankfully I still have all my fingers, no damage or anything, no injuries occurred. But pretty crazy experience. So some, especially if you're a new firearms owner, you'll be thinking, how is this possible? Ammunition should be safe, right? Guns should be made to handle standard pressure ammunition. You'd be correct. But the problem is the ammunition I was shooting, unbeknownst to me, was not standard ammunition. It was in fact reloads that were sold to me, but they were not. But they were sold to me under the guise of it being just regular target ammunition. I was at a local vendor because we just recently moved states. I'd say back in late August of last year, we had just moved, and I was in the process of getting ready for another concealed carry class to get my permit to carry in this state. And I was running low on 9mm from my last range trip. And I was at a local vendor who I was getting a transfer for on a M2A1 Enfield rifle. And in the process of checking out, the guy said he had some 9mm he was looking to sell if if I was looking for some ammunition. And of course, being the Ammopocalypse that it was, even at that time, I said, yeah, sure, totally interested. Basically passed off ammunition as being some mil-spec and mil-serp ammunition packaged in a clear plastic bag. And making the foolish mistake of purchasing that ammunition from him, believing his word, I took that ammunition and I saved it for a rainy day. And the problem is what I should have done as soon as I got home, and even before I purchased it, to be honest, I should have inspected that ammunition, and if I would have been paying attention, I would have known the fact that ammunition, all in there, was from different manufacturers. So these were basically reloads that he was selling to me under the guise of it being military surplus ammunition or just commercial ammo that some guys have just thrown in the bag. It's bad on me for not checking the ammunition, but it's also very bad on the vendor for selling something under a very misleading title. Now, whether they knew that's what it was, I'm not 100% sure. Whether or not they knew it was bad reloads, I don't know. I can't prove that one way or the other, but what happened happened. And so essentially, for those who are not in the know, a situation like this where a case wall ruptures can come from either one of two reasons. Number one, the brass being well used to the point to where it's been reloaded so many times that the case length from multiple firings through the chamber, the case walls weakened, and that was a weak point when the round went off. The second possible issue is the round was loaded too heavy. Too much powder. The case cannot withstand the explosion that takes place in a firearm shell casing, and that escaping energy has to go somewhere. And thankfully it did not damage the slide, because that could have resulted in eye injuries, but thankfully I was wearing eye protection at the time. But all that energy went into the frame, exploded, charred up my hands pretty bad, but thankfully other than that, no real injuries occurred. So the main lesson to take away from this for new firearms owners and experienced firearms owners: during this crazy time of ammopocalypse and guys trying to sell ammunition to each other one way back and forth, be very careful of what you're buying, and always inspect that ammunition before you purchase it, especially if it is secondhand. I'm not what you would call an expert by any means when it comes to firearms, but I've grown up shooting guns, and I am well versed enough to know most issues that pertains to firearms, and I'm fairly knowledgeable. This is something that I did not see coming, but again, this is something I should have been paying attention to when I was offered this deal. So be warned of what ammunition you're purchasing, who you're buying it from, and inspect it before you make that decision. I understand some people are going to come in the comments and say, well, I shoot reloads all the time. Heck, my buddies sell me reloads. That's fine. That's to your prerogative. I will say this: unless you are purchasing, unless you're making your own reloaded ammunition and you know that what you're shooting is of quality spec, I do not recommend you buy reloads from anybody, just because you don't know what they're doing when they're making that ammunition. And especially if you're buying it from a vendor that you don't know the track record of that vendor, and you don't know where that ammunition came from. That was a hard lesson to learn for me that I will not be making in the future. For those who are wondering, CZ has a 5-year warranty on their handguns, and my gun was well within warranty. But the main issue is, and most manufacturers are like this, if there is an ammunition malfunction that causes a catastrophic failure of the firearm, that is not covered under warranty, because it's technically not the firearm's fault. It is the ammunition's fault. So the thing to take note of from this is CZ customer support is awesome. They, as a courtesy, offered me a brand new pistol for half of the current retail price. And I'm not saying MSRP, I'm mainly talking about the guns are going for now, because as of looking within this past week of what a CZ P07 is going for on Gunbroker, and the P09, because they're priced pretty much within the same ballpark, they're going for about $620, whereas they basically sold me this gun for $350, rounding it up. They didn't have to do that, but they did it as a courtesy to me, and big thanks to CZ for that. That's for standing by their product and standing by their customers. So big thanks to CZ for that. They didn't have to do that, but they did anyways, and more props for them for that, and I thank them for that. So if you are in the market for a new handgun during this crazy time, as a result of that, I'm going to recommend you go out and buy a CZ handgun. This is not an advertisement for them by any stretch of the imagination. This is just from my experience of a company that's taking good care of a customer in a situation that was not good for anybody, but they offered me a pretty good deal that they didn't have to do, but they went above and beyond for me, which I do greatly appreciate. So again, guys, the main takeaway from this is during this crazy time of ammopocalypse and political craziness and all that, just be very careful of what you're buying, and know who you're buying it from and what you're buying, and be very critical when someone says, hey, I got a great deal for you. Double and triple check everything before giving that guy or gal money and then putting that ammunition into your gun. So just be very careful, guys, okay? The thing is about it, hard lessons like this, you got to learn from. They suck to go through, but it's an important thing to learn for the future. So anyway, guys, this has been the AK Geek signing out. I got some new videos coming up in the future. Sorry I haven't put too much out, but I felt like this is one that had to go out there for you, because both new and experienced gunners alike can learn from situations like this. Hope you all have a good day.